Hey, welcome to another episode of Cincy Fan Talk. This is LP. Thanks for everybody for coming back to this ride. Appreciate you. As always, you can check me out on the socials, tweeting and everything. That is Cincy_Fan Talk, CINCY_Fan Talk. Once again, appreciate you for stopping past and listening to me. Definitely appreciate you coming by and checking me out on this podcast. So, we will be getting into some different things. So, this is Cincy Fan Talk, supposedly talking about sports, but if you read the bio, I do delve into a lot of different things. So, we'll start sports and we'll end up in some weird paths. So we're going to get into some Andy Dalton stuff. And it's weird to me how the narrative about Andy Dalton has changed. Well, I say it's weird, but it's not really weird if you've watched the arc of Andy Dalton in Cincinnati and honestly nationally, because it just has that if you're not in Cincinnati, you're automatically better kind of swag to it. That's just how I see it. So this is just my take. I just feel like Andy Dalton was consistently underappreciated and treated wrong while he was here. And people will disagree with that because they just forget how he was treated while he was here. It just seemed like, let me go ahead and preface this with the fact that I am a bit of an Andy Dalton apologist. I will freely admit this. But at the same time, if you look at the facts, a lot of the stuff that he got blamed for really wasn't his fault. It all starts with the quarterback. The quarterback will get the blame if everything goes wrong. He will get the credit if everything goes right. I mean, you look at quarterbacks, even back in the day, you look at somebody like a Jeff Hostetler from like way back in the day. You look at somebody like a Joe Flacco, even going back to like, more recent day. These quarterbacks may not have been like the best quarterbacks per se, but they're hyped up more than what they should be because they won Super Bowls. And when the light shined the brightest, they got the job done. They might not have been like, overall the best, but they got the job done. And they looked reasonably good doing it. Things kind of sort of broke their way. Things didn't really break Andy Dalton's way. They just didn't. 2015, things were about to break his way. He broke his finger. Other times, he's going good. Bad offensive line. Gets to the playoffs, defense breaks. Gets to the playoffs, loses all his wide receivers. I mean, he ran into a string of bad luck, or sometimes he just kind of shit the bed. I'll give you that. Sometimes he did. But for all of the stuff that he did wrong or he did right, he never really fully got credit for it. It was always he's an average quarterback and he needs the great tools around him. Or he's an average quarterback and he needs a great offensive line, yada, yada, yada. But if he needed all of this stuff, why didn't he get what he needed while he was in Cincinnati? When he had the great offensive line, he shined. He did his thing. But when he didn't have a great offensive line, he didn't do well, and he got blamed for that. I mean, quarterbacks can't block for themselves. There are very few quarterbacks who do well without a great offensive line. Aaron Rodgers, Andrew Luck. If you can name more quarterbacks than those two who do great without great offensive lines, you go ahead and name them. The knock on Tom Brady, the one and only knock is you put pressure on him, he doesn't do well. That's his one and only knock. So quarterbacks don't do well with pressure. Andy Dalton doesn't do well with pressure. Sue him. I mean, that's normally how it is with quarterbacks. But Andy Dalton is always getting dumped on for that, which is absolutely ridiculous. So you got that going against him. Fast forward to this year, which was the weirdest year ever in terms of an Andy Dalton fan, because I'm like, you put him in a rebuilding situation, but you act like you want him to win. But you don't want him to win because you want the first draft pick. But you throw him out here, crappy offensive line. You take away all of his weapons. So there's that. And then you're blaming him for not winning. So then you bench him on his birthday. And then they're still not winning. So then you bring him back. And then he gets you 2 wins. But then you don't trade him when he should have been traded so he can get a good shot at a starting gig. But you don't trade him. Absolutely ridiculous. So for me, it's like, how can you, as Bengals front office, look this man straight in the eye and say you did right by him when you didn't? You cost Andy Dalton money. I mean, you really did. He went to Dallas and signed a deal, for $3 million guaranteed? But he was making 17 here. And if he's the starting quarterback somewhere in Jacksonville or in Chicago, that's starting money right there. So you're costing this man money. You're humiliating this man by benching him on his birthday. I mean, to me, it's absolutely ridiculous that you can say, okay, we did right by you. Why? By waiting till his value was absolutely low and then letting him go? I mean, to me, it's what the Bengals used to be. That team that does it absolutely on the cheap. We're not going to help anybody else. It's what makes me the most upset about this, because you're proving people like Stephen A. Smith correct. Like, you're proving like a Skip Bayless type correct. It aggravates me because I don't want to say these guys are right, because I hate it. Like, I don't like saying stuff like that, but they're right in that vein, because why would you not get top value and treat somebody correct that's giving you 9 solid years and has done excellent work in this community? A 2nd round pick that's taking you to the playoffs 5 straight years. Why would you not A, get top value, and B, do right by somebody that has done right by you? But instead, you bury your head in the sand and you go like, well, I don't want to make another team better and help out another player. It's the stuff that Carson Palmer was talking about. It's the stuff that Stephen A. was talking about. It's the stuff that Skip Bayless was talking about. It's not right. And it's not fair to Andy Dalton. It's aggravating as a Bengals fan when the national media is correct about this stuff. It's aggravating. And you don't want to be one of those Bengals fans that's always going like, well, no, we're always getting dumped on by the media and it's not right. Because in this case, if you're looking at it, it is right. Andy Dalton should have been out of here a long time ago. And not because Joe Burrow should be here. It's because it would be fair to Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton has a couple of good years left. And by the way, national media, you're wrong in this vein. if Andy Dalton was good enough to start now in Dallas, that means he was good enough to start here. Like, let's be real. How is he not good enough to start here, but he's good enough to beat out Dak Prescott? Like, be for real. Like, that makes sense to you? He's good enough to go down there and compete for a job in Dallas, but he's not good enough to start here. Absolutely ridiculous. So I hope Andy Dalton goes down to Dallas, and I hope he balls out. I hope he absolutely positively does his thing, because as an Andy Dalton fan, I think it would be great for him. And I still want my Bengals to do well, because I'm a Bengals fan. Still will be. But in this case, I just feel like they did Andy Dalton wrong. And for the city of Cincinnati, I hope you treat Andy Dalton. I hope you treat Joe Burrow. I hope you treat Joe Burrow a little bit better than you did Andy Dalton. Because Andy Dalton didn't really deserve the treatment that he got while he was here. So let's give Joe Burrow the patience that he deserves, because it's not going to be like easy street. So let's give him that room to grow, and let's not dump on him for every mistake that he makes, especially with the offensive line that he has right now, because it looks like it's setting up to be the same thing so far, because he has the weapons around him, but he's going to need that line to develop. So let's not dump on him for the mistakes, okay? Because all the mistakes aren't going to be his. Some are, some aren't. So let's give him that space to grow, and let's not just dump on him. So that's what I would say, because people need room to grow. And that's what I got for that so far. We'll be right back. Cincy Fan Talk. Welcome back to Cincy Fan Talk. If you ever want to go ahead and chat about whatever we talking about here on the podcast, you can catch us on Twitter, and that will be CINCY_fan talk. You can go ahead and pick up the conversation with me. Feel free to go ahead and follow, and we can go ahead and chop it up and talk about pretty much whatever you want to talk about. It's definitely a free-flowing conversation. All opinions are definitely appreciated. Today is Teacher Appreciation Day. It's Teacher Appreciation Week. I'm a teacher, 7th grade math. My wife's a teacher, intervention specialist, so it's a house full of teachers here. The kids, they've grown to appreciate it here at the house. I don't know if they really appreciated it at first, but I think they see the advantages now more than they did when they were younger and whatnot. So that's cool. This whole pandemic, it really got me thinking, being here, quarantining it up, doing pretty much all remote teaching math virtually online using Google Classroom, with a bunch of 7th graders, pretty much 90 7th grade kids, teaching them, the ins and outs of pre-algebra and geometry and all that stuff. It really got me thinking about, where we are as far as, education, and how the pandemic, I hope, is really opening things up as far as where we are in education in America. And I've been telling people this for the longest time. This is at the end of this school year, this will be my 14th year teaching. I taught in Columbus for a year before I came back to Cincinnati. Ohio State grad. Did Columbus Public for a year. Came back to Cincinnati. Been teaching in schools, all inner city schools in Cincinnati, ever since. And what I'm really hoping is that, and I'm not sure if this is going to be the case. I think it's going to take a while because America moves slow in everything that we do. But I really hope people are opening their eyes to the digital divide when it comes to education in America. When this pandemic was about to hit, we kind of sort of saw it coming at our school. Our entire school is like free lunch. Everybody gets free lunch. So that kind of lets you know where we are as far as like, the kids that we serve. So we went back and forth as far as, what should we be sending home and, that whole thing. So we were pretty concerned because we were like, a lot of the kids, they may not have, solid Wi-Fi systems and stuff like that. We knew that all of them didn't have, computer access. So we went ahead and sent them home with the laptops that we had. And then if they couldn't do that, we had, Chromebook pickups and all that good stuff. So we had that taken care of. But the Wi-Fi has been a major issue. People couldn't get Chromebooks sometimes. Some people couldn't get their laptops. And I'm thinking to myself, we kind of sort of had it okay because we were able to actually give our kids laptops in our school. And I know a lot of schools aren't able to do that. A lot of schools, they just gave their kids like, big packets of paper. So we were actually at an advantage, even though the kids had to kind of fend for themselves as far as the Wi-Fi. And I know, Spectrum was supposed to like, try to give them Wi-Fi and all that stuff. And that was a whole thing because what people didn't know was that Spectrum, in their infinite wisdom, because they were giving out free Wi-Fi and everything, but they still weren't allowing people with old bills to get the free Wi-Fi. So what's really the point? We heard about that and we're like, are you serious? That's ridiculous. Like, Spectrum, get it together. And I heard that they fixed it or whatever, but I don't know. I mean, we had to jump through all of these hoops in order to ensure that kids are getting their needs met in 2020. And in a lot of other districts, as you head out, in other suburbs, I'm looking and they're like, they're continuing their entire day going like bell by bell digitally. Like, I'm watching some kids like, oh, I'm at first bell right now. Teacher's teaching. I'm in second bell right now. Teacher's teaching. And I'm looking like, are you serious? Like, that's life right now? Like, you can do that? Like, we couldn't even think to do that. Because even though we've given the kids, their Chromebooks, some kids are unable to get to the school to get their Chromebooks. And even if they did, they aren't able to get their Wi-Fi. And even if they could get their Wi-Fi, it's not stable enough because they aren't able to get like a package that's strong enough. And even if they could, there's too many people in their home because they only have one Chromebook because they're only able to give out like one Chromebook per family. So they're all sharing a Chromebook. And if you have like 3 or 4 different kids in the home that need that Chromebook, like, what are you supposed to do? And I don't think this is the school's fault. Like, you're a school and you're doing literally everything that you can to meet these kids' needs. At some point, America has to understand that there are some districts and there are some places that have advantages that other schools and other districts and other places simply don't. And that's a failing of where we are as a country. I mean, there is a digital divide. And as educators, we really appreciate, you know, being thanked and everything. But I can tell you as an educator, what I would really like is for things to be equal for our kids. Because what has really happened in America is that whole separate but equal thing is really the whole black and white thing. It's becoming digital now. It's no longer, well, it's taking a different kind of hue now. No longer do we have to worry about like, oh, like it's a whole black and white thing. It's moved to a digital age now. If you look at what's happening, it's digital. You're looking at places in America where you have to have parents follow like a McDonald's or a library or a school bus that has the Wi-Fi, like that has a Wi-Fi system or like a Wi-Fi service. That's absolutely ridiculous for where we live in. But this pandemic has opened all of that up. And what I'm really hoping is that we see that. And I mean, maybe I'm naive to say that we can fix this, but I'm really hoping that something changes, because I'm really not a fan of this whole new normal thing, but I don't see this changing anytime soon. Like, I can't see me as a 7th grade teacher walking into my classroom in August and everything being normal. Like, I just don't see that happening. Like, I can't see me standing at my whiteboard greeting my kids on the first day of school and me having like a group of 4 kids sitting in a group and then another group of 4 kids sitting in a group. Like, I just don't see that happening. Like, the classroom I'm envisioning now is I'm going to have tape all over the floor, and the tape is going to be 6 feet apart, and I'm going to pray that I have enough room to fit 20 kids in there. But I'm going to have a class list of about 24 kids. And I'm going to be talking to my administrators like, what am I going to do with the other 4 kids? That's what I'm thinking my normal is going to be. So I'm really hoping something changes. So that's kind of where I am on education right now. And I'm hoping that this digital divide opens people's eyes up about what's really going on in education, because everything's moving digital. I mean, it really is. I mean, we're going to have to change the way that we teach. We're going to have to change the way that we think. And I can't teach a lesson that's all digital and then send my kids home with paperwork because they don't have Wi-Fi. So I really hope the powers that be think about that. So we'll be right back. Cincy Fan Talk. Hey, welcome back. It's Cincy Fan Talk. As always, catch us on those socials. That's that Twitter, CINCY_fan talk. Doing this quarantine thing, of course. In the house pretty much all the time. Venturing out a little bit. Doing the grocery shopping, picking up the food. But for the most part, just kicking it in the house. Analyzing Insecure way more than I thought I would be. Told y'all on one of the previous podcasts to definitely check out Insecure. Told y'all it was a good show. For my money, I think this has been probably the most realistic season so far. I'm checking out Twitter and noticing a lot of people not really feeling it, which is weird for me because I think it's more realistic than all the than all the other seasons. That's just me personally. I know a lot of other people. I know a lot of people out into like, the sex and the drama and all that stuff. I mean, I get that. I mean, that's that's what that's what sells or whatever. But for me personally, I think this is more realistic. I mean, this is real life to me. I mean, if you really think about it, this stuff happens to you and me more than you think. It happens all of the time. If you really look at what Issa and Molly are going through, this has probably happened to you before. I mean, just take a look at the first few episodes and you just see Issa and Molly just like on the wrong page constantly, just miscommunicating. And it's funny because they both think they're right, and they are. Like, Issa's like not really listening to Molly. Like, she's just kind of like over talking her, and she's like, making fun of her, calling her out, telling her she's not trying to be happy and all of that. And she's kind of sort of right because, in seasons past, Molly will just kind of, shoot herself in the foot when she's trying to, be happy. She'll just do something dumb and just jack the whole thing up. She'll move too fast. When Issa told her, she would just call her out on that. She told her that. But Issa's not really listening to Molly when she's like, she's kind of feeling this dude. Issa's just blowing her off, playing her like, oh, Molly. She's not listening. And on the other hand, Molly's playing Issa, playing her to the curb. Molly's playing Issa like she's old Issa. And she's like, Issa, you really, you messing up. You sliding off in the old stuff with Lawrence, and you not really like about your business with your career. You just trying to be messy because you always messy. And she's not understanding that Issa's trying to grow. Like, she's trying to move into like a new pathway, and she's trying to be less messy by, trying to progress with new relationships. Neither one of them see that they're trying to like progress, and they're trying to put them in their same old boxes. Like, it just seems to me like they're comfortable with their friendship the way that it was. And it's funny because we get like that as people. Like, we don't want our friends to change because we're cool with our friends being the way that they are. Like, that makes us feel better the way that we are. We're like, if they don't change, I'm cool because I don't really feel good the way I am. So if you stay the way you are, then I'm cool because I haven't gotten to where I want to be yet. And it feels like that's what they're doing right now. Like, that's what it feels like. It's just weird that other people aren't feeling that. I mean, I got my theories on this. Like, I mean, me personally, I feel like if this was a different show, like, not even really playing the race card on this. Like, it's very easy to play the race card and be like, oh, if this was Sex in the City, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like if these were men and, like, they were doing this would be like an Emmy-winning show. Like, that's what makes this kind of funny because it seems like they've taken the men out of this and they've kind of made it about them. And the men are like the side parts of this. Like, Lawrence is there and Andrew is there, but they're not the main thing. Like, they're not focused on them. It seems like the main draw here is the relationship between Issa and Molly. And it's strange that a lot of people aren't feeling that. Like, that's just strange to me. Like, I find that compelling. Like, the relationship, like the friendship aspect, I mean, that's a draw for me. Like, I really want to see what happens next because we go through that, like, as grown-ups. Like, you have friends, and friends, like, as you get older, friends just kind of, like, fly in and out of your life. You got family, you got obligations, you got a career, you got all of this stuff that you're trying to take care of. it's so easy to take your friends and just slide them to the back burner. You talk to them less, you hear from them less, and then when you talk to them, you just want to get your shit off. Like, you just want to talk about what you want to talk about. I mean, you do that in your relationships, with your significant others. You get so hyped up to talk about what you want to talk about that sometimes you don't hear them, and they feel some type of way. Like, that's how Molly felt in that scene, like towards the end, where Issa gave her a call, and Issa gave Molly a call, and Issa was like, "Can we talk?" And Molly was like, "Yeah, because I really want to talk about Andrew." And Molly just blew past that and asked for a favor. And I saw on Twitter people was like not understanding why Molly would be upset about that. And I'm like, how could you not understand why she would be upset about that? Like, how many times have you, as a grown up, like, been upset when somebody just called you and you haven't heard from or you felt some type of way about, and then they just call you and ask you for a favor? And on top of that, you actually trying to talk to them about something deep. Like I just don't get how people don't understand the layers to this show. Like it's just weird to me. Like, I don't know. But I really would like to see what happens next. I mean, I'm thinking at some point there's gonna have to be a conversation between these two. But if it's realistic, and it's strange because sometimes there is no conversation. Sometimes friends just go. Like, I've had friends who were like, they were friends, and then all of a sudden we just weren't talking anymore. And then you see them and you just kind of wave, and then they wave, and that's just that. But, you have really, really close friends, and you got to have a conversation. And things might get said, feelings might get hurt, but if they're really true friends, you kind of work through that. And I feel like Issa and Molly are like headed towards that conversation. Like, you can see it coming, and I feel like they can see it coming, because every time they're about to have that conversation, one of them will make an excuse to not have it, and then the other one will be like, okay, cool, because they don't want to have it either. At some point they will have that conversation. I don't know what episode that's going to be on, but it's probably coming. I mean, for me, I just don't get how more people don't see the layers. I mean, I'm seeing on Twitter, like, so many people saying, like, this is the worst season so far. Like, it's moving too slow. I mean, not just people on Twitter. Like, I'm reading the reviews from all types of news outlets saying so far they don't see the growth and stuff like that. And I'm like, you saw the growth in Issa on season 3. Like, I feel like it's written for you not to see growth. Like, they're backsliding. This is happening on purpose. Like, like, that's what it just looks like to me. So, I mean, I'm kind of excited to see what happens next. I mean, I think it's a good show. I think it's well written. So I would like to see what happens next. So it'll be on Sunday, round about 10 o'clock. So we shall see what happens next. Wear a mask. Like, if you're around me and we're out and about, wear a mask. I do not understand why people want the country open and they're like stampeding around and stomping around to get the country open, and then they get the country open, get the economy open, and then they don't even want to social distance. Like, what's really the point? Like, you're doing all this stuff, and then the cases rise and the deaths rise, and then we end up right back in the house. I mean, it's just weird to me. I mean, I don't even really need a lot of time to talk about that. I mean, social distance, wear a mask. I mean, the economy is opening back up again. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I do understand we can't stay in the house forever. I mean, that can't happen. So if we have to go out and about, social distance, wear a mask. I mean, it worked so far. It kept things down in Ohio. So I don't understand why we would go back to the way things used to be. That makes no sense. I mean, that's just weird. So, hey, that's my 2 cents. So, if you're around me and mine, stay 6 feet apart and wear a mask. If you can't do those two things, just stay away from me. and that's not hard. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up for this week. Expect a new episode next Tuesday. Until then, this has been Cincy Fan Talk. This is LP, and I'm out the door. Until then, peace out.